Trump's in court again. This time we actually get to see him in the court briefly. How freaking exciting. And our Letitia James here, the New York Attorney General, speaks on the steps.
My message is simple. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how much money you think you may have.
Now she keeps fluttering her eyelids. I just want you to know that she's wearing eyelashes. And that is why you see the fluttering. It doesn't mean anything. She's in portrayal. She's acting. With the same rhetoric, apparently we hear from all Democrats, that no one is above the law.
No one is above the law. And it is my responsibility and my duty and my job to enforce it. The law is both powerful.
Now she keeps shifting her weight, but she looks like she's overweight. And in my experience of dealing with people that put on this much makeup and fake hair in different parts of their body, health-wise, they're normally not doing that great, especially in their joints. Trump has arrived at the courthouse.
Thank you. This is a continuation of the single greatest witch hunt of all time. The properties are worth a tiny fraction, of 1/100. Tiny fraction of what they actually are. We have a racist attorney general who's a horror show who ran on the basis that she was going to get Trump before she even knew anything about me. She used this to run for governor. She failed in her attempt to run for governor. She had virtually no polling. She came back and she said, well, now I'll go back to get Trump again. And this is what we have. It's a scam. It's a sham. Just so you know, my financial statements are phenomenal. They are actually less in terms of the numbers used than the actual net worth. The actual net worth is substantially more. No bank was affected. No bank was hurt. They don't even know why they have to be involved.
He's really good at making statements. He's probably thought this up on his way there. Some of it off the cuff, but he's in portrayal. He's got the look because it's campaign season. That is not a dig. It's just the obvious. Now, I'm not quite sure what the ruling is on cameras, but apparently they were allowed in briefly and then were kicked out. Now, they came in from this door where you see all the officers in white shirts at. And they came around, walked down the thing, so you don't get to see anything but the back of Trump's head. Obviously, he knows what's coming, and everyone in this row knows what's coming. So you got the Democrats on their side. Oh, I'm sorry. The prosecutors on their side, all smiling, happy-go-lucky. You've got Trump's lead attorney, I'm assuming that's his position there. He's smiling. And the other two lawyers, serious face, and you've got Trump looking like a bulldog. A little bit of discomfort there as you see the quick jerk to the side. Remember, it's not just campaign season. We're talking about a man's life who does not like to lose. So you're going to have a little bit of ego, some defiance, all of that rolled into one and not looking weak. Also does not want to appear like a hard ass, which is why you keep seeing the head move back and forth, trying to portray thoughts. Oh, I'm mentally not here, I'm thinking. Now, just so you know why we couldn't really see Trump prior, so we know that he knows that they're coming through before they all turn around to get his picture. This is just the view as they come through the courtroom. It's hard to sit there and have cameras all in your face when they're all expecting you to do something like boogity. Oh, do something to embarrass yourself. Do something to prove it's all right. Do something that's going to be great for our headlines to destroy your image. But Trump's the man. This is after the trial, or that day of the trial.
The former president walking out. He's made some explosive comments earlier on.
He's got all that stress of sitting there trying to look stoic and appear not weak and not have someone push his buttons. So you see that stretch as he's coming through, and I mean the mouth stretch. So when you finally are able to get away from the situation, you stretch the muscles that had the most tension, which would be apparently in his face and mouth.
We'll see if he stops and makes some more comments here on Live Now from Fox in New York City.
Well, I think that was very good. That last 5 minutes was outstanding because the judge is
So outstanding. You see the light in his face come in, the stress in the cheeks, chin, all of that melts away with that was very good. And then he goes back instantly to seriousness.
essentially conceded that the statute of limitations that we won at the Court of Appeals is in effect. Therefore, about 80% of the case is over. I was going to come out and say that, as you know, we're not entitled to a jury, which is pretty unusual in the United States of America. So we think it's very unfair that I don't have a jury. But the judge's last statement was very fair. And if I read it right,
That was odd. I didn't even know that. This is news to me.
I was going to come out and say that, as you know, we're not entitled to a jury, which is pretty unusual in the United States.
See a look in the brain in that area, and I'm not quite understanding why. I guess I'm missing context on this whole jury thing because it seems like he's searching. And for it's your trial, you're going to know the ins and outs, which is why that's confusing to me. Why are you searching on the reason of not having a jury?
States of America. So we think it's very unfair that I don't have a jury, but the judge's last statement was very fair. And if I read it right, I'll let perhaps one of the lawyers speak to it. But Cliff, maybe you'll speak to it if you would. But the way I interpret that and the way everyone else in the room seems to interpret that is that the statute of limitations is a very real thing in this country. And that would be about 80% of this case would be over. Could somebody speak to that, please? Cliff, you want to talk about that?
Sure. So based on the judge's comments, at the end of the trial today, it would appear that he is agreeing that all of the transactions that closed prior to 2014 are now out of the case.
Which is about 80% of the case. And it's also something that we won on appeal, but was not accepted by this court, but now seems to be accepted by this court. As far as the jury is concerned, it's much different now. I must tell you that it was 20 minutes ago. We were going to come out and complain that, in this country you're entitled to a jury. But we very much appreciate the judge's decision today, or his statement today, on statute of limitations, which is a very big thing. It's a limited time period. And we did nothing wrong. And if you look at the statements, they showed that even in 2011, I guess the number was 258.
So I was letting him ramble there a little bit. Head still held up high, shoulders still back, still standing in strength. We're not sensing any fear. We're not sensing any what-if moments. It's like the body is not stressing on that. It's more of an irritation that is seeping through that would go with the strength coming out. And maybe one of those super sleuth lawyers can explain why in this country this man is not getting a jury, because that makes no sense.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.